All right. You are welcome, all the folks joining on Facebook Live, that you did not just have to watch all of our technical difficulties. But thank you all for being here. This is our most well attended webinar that we've had yet this month for DD awareness. We are here, Delaware County Board of DD in Delaware, Ohio, is here with Aaron Warren, the founder of Zipped Brands, which is out of Murfreesboro. I probably butchered that, Tennessee.
Oh, you said it right.
So, which I learned last night talking with Aaron, that it is kind of in the middle of everything. You can get pretty much anywhere important in Tennessee within like 45 minutes to an hour. So,
Hmm.
I cannot do an explanation of Zips Brands justice, but I did want to tell just a little story before I let Aaron take over. So, I'm giving a shout out, and I told her I was going to give her a shout out. Heather Meek, one of our SSAs here at Delaware County, shared your post on her Facebook. I saw it, and then my supervisor Chase and I had a meeting the next day. I had written a note about like let's get in touch with this guy. He seems super cool, and this would be a great webinar. And Chase had done the same exact thing. So at that point, it was fate that we bring you on and reach out. And thank you so much for being here. I know the last few months have been super busy, but good busy for you.
Yeah.
So, Aaron, I am going to pass it over to you to kind of explain your journey and explain where you're at and explain how folks can access Zipped Brands shoes.
Yeah, well, Mallory, I just wanted to start off by saying I appreciate that. I appreciate you reaching out and inviting me today. I will give a little backstory since you mentioned the post on Facebook. So I made a post a couple of months ago on a local group here in Tennessee. It's called Franklin, Tennessee. A little local group here, and I posted on that group about my business, kind of what we're doing, not thinking that it would really get any traction or attention. And boy, was I wrong. So that post on that group has like 15,000 likes. It has like 20,000 shares. And I've had people from Australia messaging me saying, "Hey, I saw your post in Liverpool, Australia." So it just goes to show you how amazing social media is sometimes, and how things spread like wildfire. It's insane. But yeah, a little bit about me is I'm Aaron. I live with a neuromuscular condition called spinal muscular atrophy, or SMA for short. Basically, it's just a fancy way of saying that my muscles get weaker as I get older. Think of Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS. It just doesn't progress as fast as ALS. So I've been in a wheelchair my entire life. But more relevant to my story is, I've always wanted to wear stylish shoes, but I never could. I never, because of my disability and the way that my feet are, wearing traditional shoes that I actually liked was nearly impossible. And if it wasn't impossible, it took me no less than 10 or 15 minutes to put my shoes on. And that's even if I could get them on at all. Most of the time, it would hurt so much that I would just say, forget this, I'm giving up, I'm not wearing shoes today. So last year, I was putting on my shoes as I do, and I was trying to rush through it because I had to be somewhere, and I hurt myself. I hurt my feet pretty badly trying to get my shoe on, and it frustrated me like a lot. And so I told myself that there has to be a way that I can wear my favorite brands of shoes without it hurting me. Like I knew there was some accessible shoe options out there, but not in the brands that I wanted and loved, like Nike, Adidas, Puma, Doc Martens, all the brands. that I always wanted, I never could wear. And so I had an idea, uh, I know other accessible shoe companies out there that make their own accessible shoes. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to wear my favorite brands. So I had an idea. I was like, what if I made my favorite shoes, Nike, Adidas, boots, Doc Martens, leather dress shoes. What if I made them accessible? And so all of this started from a frustration, as many things do, I presume. And so, I had the idea and I set out on an adventure to try to find someone that could do, uh, not just see my vision, but believe in it. And so I went to a couple of people local in my area, tried out my idea, and my idea was I want to put a zipper in the shoe and have it go all the way around the shoe. That way it allows the shoe to open up completely like a book. So that was the idea, but I didn't want it to just be accessible. I wanted it to be fashionable as well. That was very important to me. I wanted to make sure that you couldn't really notice the zipper in the shoe. That way, the aesthetic of the shoe is the same. So that was the idea, and I went to a couple of people. They didn't quite do it how I wanted it to look, which is fine. And so I ended up going to another guy. His name is Oliver at Shoe Man with Angels Custom Creations. He's a shoe traveler in my local area. I took my idea to him. He saw it, and he tried out the first pair of shoes, and I was in love. They looked so good. You couldn't even really tell that there was a zipper in them, and it just kind of started from there. Now we're doing it. We've been doing it since the end of November. And what sets us apart is instead of us making our own shoes, we customize and modify already existing shoes with a zipper. And Mallory, is there any way that I can share my screen or is that not possible?
You should be able to.
Okay,
Um,
'cause I had some pictures
Absolutely.
pulled up.
I think it's at the bottom. Oh, there you go.
So so these are the Nike Dunks. I'm hoping you can see this. This is probably one of the most popular shoes that we're doing as of yet. And so basically the zipper starts on the outside of the shoe and then it wraps all the way around, all the way to the other side of the shoe. And we have a zipper pull there. And so basically it allows the zipper to open up like this. That way I'm able to put my foot completely in the shoe and then zip it up and then rock on. So a process that used to take me 10, 15 minutes if I'm lucky. And like I said, most of the time I couldn't do it at all because it was so painful. I can do this in about 30 seconds, probably less. And like I said, it was important to me to not be able to really tell that there was a zipper. And the picture doesn't do it justice. When you're wearing the shoe, you cannot really tell that there is a zipper in the shoe because we make sure to match it up with the sole. So right here it's white, so it just looks like it's part of the sole of the shoe. And I mean, we've done dozens of different styles of shoes. I mean, we do it all. So, um, I mean, we have customers in all 50 states now and in 3 countries. So it's just crazy to me because I thought this was going to be a little side adventure that I have done that I was going to do, but it has turned into so much more. And Mallory, you don't know this because I didn't mention this yet, but I officially, as of a few days ago, we are going to be partnering with Nike. It's insane. I can't believe it. Yeah, I know. It's crazy that this little idea
So what
is
does that
turned.
mean?
So basically, they're probably gonna help me with manufacturing the shoes because right now I'm a one-man show. All of these shoes are done by one guy. We do them by hand. Each shoe takes about an hour or so to do. And so basically Nike has agreed to uh, put me on their website, partner together, and maybe help me manufacture the shoes. So super excited about that. Can't even believe it. And we've only been doing this for 4 months. We started at the end of November. So things are going super fast. And obviously I have a disability and I'm now a business owner with a disability. And so I think a lot of people are wondering how that kind of looks like for me as well. And I'm new to all of this. I'm new to the business world, but I relate a lot of my successes to the fact that I have caregivers. So I'm able to do all of this because I have 24/7 care, and I live in my own apartment. And so basically that allows me to do, all the things that I want to do in life. And I just want to put a stamp on how important it is to have such a good support system and network team and caregiving team. It's so important, and I really relate a lot of my successes and things like that to the fact that I am able to be independent and I'm able to do all the things. So, that's kind of where we are. Like I said, I started this back at the end of November, and it's kind of just gone a little bit crazy, to say the least. And so I'm just super excited, super thankful, and it just goes to show you that, with some determination and the resolve to pursue the things that you want to do in life. It is possible, guys, and I just really want to hopefully show people that and say that you can do the things that you want to do in life. It's a little bit difficult, but it is possible.
I love that. So first you were showing the pictures of the dunks. Just
Mhm.
to show how unhip I am, I did not know what those were. Like, I think I've worn the same pair of shoes for like 10 years now. So my coworkers were talking about like, oh, you've got the dunks, all that. I'm like, so I learned so much about shoes as we were perusing your website. And something I
Yeah,
think that's really cool, like obviously, um, making these costs money and making these costs time. But one thing that I really appreciate that I noticed on your website was that you have payment plan options and for folks, I think that's great, to make them a little bit more accessible for people as well. Not, all websites or not all companies offer those kind of resources. So I think that was super neat. For those that might be interested in ordering their own pair of
yeah,
dunks.
and Mallory, that was very important to me from day one. It was actually a non-negotiable option because as someone with a disability, I know firsthand how important price accessibility is. And I know that, our prices aren't as affordable as most. And I get that, and I wanted to make it as accessible as possible, which is why I wanted to offer those payment plans. So yeah, we have that as an option. People use it all the time, and if that's something that you need, yeah, use the payment plans. And we also offer sponsorship too. Now we've had so many people reach out sponsoring a pair of shoes. And so basically what that means is people reach out to buy a pair of shoes to give away to someone. So many people have done that. It's so kind. And so that's an option as well. So payment plans and getting sponsored is a couple of options we have.
That is awesome. So I before and folks that are on either Facebook Live or on our participant, like on the Zoom, feel free to ask questions. I have a weird question, a little not specifically related to the shoes, but more so like your instant like popularity. I see you've been, interviewed by the news sometimes, and like you're doing more and more like outreach, which is awesome. Um, Part of my role and one of my colleagues, Courtney, on the call, is we do a lot of outreach and engage a lot with the folks in the community and whatnot. Um, she is a wheelchair user, so we often run into areas in environments that aren't accessible, and she, offers that feedback. So have you, as you've done these like the news interviews and as you've talked to folks and like been out in the community and kind of spread the word about Zipped Brands, have you encountered any of those experiences, or have you been able to use it not only as an advertisement for the company, but also as an advertisement for how folks can be more inclusive and more accessible in their daily practice?
Yeah, as a wheelchair user, I'm always running into things like that, and it's funny you mention that because when I went to the news station, I was fully prepared and I was expecting it to not really be wheelchair accessible, but Mallory, I was so wrong. It was so accessible, and if it wasn't really accessible, they made it accessible to me. And so, I was fully prepared for the news station to not be what it was, but yes, I've always ran into issues like that. But I'm an optimistic person. I know that people aren't out there to maliciously, hurt disabled people. Like I understand that. So I use it as a education moment, and I'll make content out of it for exclusivity. Like I'll first explain why it's a problem, and then I can probably make it into a video about educating others about accessibility and the hardships of it and why it's important and things like that. So yeah, it happens to me, uh, pretty often, but it's just something that I'm so used to. I don't even think about it anymore, which is not the best thing to say, but that's how I feel about it. I do see the world changing and getting better every day. I really do. And so I just use those moments as education moments and teaching other people about why accessibility is important. And so, yeah, that's something that I've always dealt with my whole life. Yes.
Wonderful. Well, hopefully there will be a time in the future that we won't have to think about it because everything will just be accessible. And so that's why we don't have to
Exactly.
think about it.
Yeah, and it's important that people like me speak up because that's how we're gonna get to that point is by educating and showing and raising our voices. And so I do it every chance I get. Every chance I get, I do it.
Absolutely. So we do have a question from the one and only Heather, who made the connection for us today. She asks, if a person grows out of a pair of your shoes, is there an option to donate them if they're still in good condition to someone else in need?
Yeah, that is a great question. So we are gonna be offering a send-in program very soon. So basically, what that means is instead of just buying our shoes from our website, you'll be able to send in your shoes, the shoes that you have currently or that you see in the store and you want to have them modified. That is going to be an option in the future. And so basically, yes, what we're going to do is when we incorporate that, if someone grows out of their shoes, we're going to have it as an option to donate them. And basically, it'll be a sponsored pair of shoes, as I mentioned earlier, for someone in need. Yes.
Very cool. I have another just logistical type question.
Mhm.
So it looks like, as I was perusing, you have the Doc Martens and Nike. Now, do you have to get special permission from the brand before altering the shoes, or what does that process look like?
Also a great question. So this was something that I was super nervous about when I first started my company, because I wanted to make sure that I was able to do all this before I did it. So I reached out to an attorney. I got some legal help with this question. And so basically how we're able to operate without having any type of partnership or anything like that is we are a service-based business, right? We do this as a service. So because of that, it's the same as you buying a pair of shoes, sending it to someone to get modified, and then them sending it back to you. So because we are structured as a service-based business, and because of something that's called the first sale doctrine, we are able to do this without any scrutiny or legal complications.
That's awesome. Have you
Yeah,
had any requests for like another new brand, or what's in the? Am I allowed to ask what's in the works other than your
yeah,
big partnership with
absolutely. What is in
Nike?
the works? So what's in the works right now is Converses, Chuck Taylors, Uggs. It's hard for me to say that. Ugg boots, and Vans, and we have some cowboy boots in the works as well. Yeah, we're doing all the things, Mallory.
Oh
All the
my
things.
gosh.
Yeah,
Courtney's a big shoe person, so she's probably in her office like all excited,
yeah.
scheming. She's got the best shoe game in our on our team. Does anyone else have any questions while we have Aaron here?
Yeah, I mean, guys, I'm an open book. I mean, you can ask me anything, or you don't have to ask me anything at all. But I will answer anything. Honestly, I am a completely open book here.
I will
This
monitor
has
the
been
Q and
super
A.
fun, Mallory. By the way, thank
No, this
you.
is great. Like I said, when you got back to us, I felt like a celebrity had reached out because it was I mean, it's so cool what you're doing, and it's so cool that you're seeing your dreams in action, and you're seeing your dreams be appreciated by people all over the world. And I can only imagine how cool that is for
Yes,
you. Like I said last night, like probably overwhelming as well because you
it
weren't
is.
expecting like 30,000 shares of your post,
Yes,
but it's just one of those moments that I just in the things that you're doing for the disability community as well and inclusion and all of that, I get very excited about it. So I
well,
was I yeah.
that's just goes to show you, Mallory, that this is a needed thing in the world, right? People don't really think about these things unless they experience them, right? And I'm not knocking the world for that, but nobody's really thought of, okay, well, yeah, there's accessible options out there, but what if I want to be having accessible option while also being stylish? Because I'm a stylish guy. I love to dress nice. I really do. I'm really big about dressing nice. And so I feel like shoes goes into that as well. And I feel like if you're making your own models of shoes. That's kind of the opposite of what inclusion is, right? Inclusion is including everyone into the picture, into all facets of life. And so, that kind of means people with disabilities or all abilities being able to wear the same shoes as their friends, as their peers, their family. That to me is what true inclusion is, and it's so heartwarming to be able to give people a little bit of that feeling, which is what I didn't have growing up. You know what I mean?
We have that conversation all the time with folks that are trying to make their programming, trying to make their communities more inclusive, and talking about like the real meaning of inclusion, that, not necessarily a separate event or a separate, experience, but
Yes,
that making your general experience available for everyone. So
yeah,
I don't know if you saw me clapping, but I was like,
I
yes.
did. It's so important, like that's what true inclusion is, and that's what we're trying to do. Talking about inclusion, representation matters as well. I don't know if you looked at my Instagram, but we make it a point to have disabled models on our Instagram because it's really important too. When you're flipping through a magazine and you're a wheelchair user and you never see someone in a wheelchair, you don't feel very included, right? Or when you're scrolling through Instagram and you see a fashion brand and you don't see anyone in a wheelchair or anyone that, is similar to you in the modeling pictures, that it's not a very good feeling. And so we're really trying to change that by having disabled models and models of all abilities in our social media marketing, etc. It's really important to me and us.
Well, thank you so much. I am not seeing any further questions, but I just want, oh, hold on. Oh, the website we asked for, yes, Courtney, I had put it in the Facebook Live, but I will put it, in the chat too. Whoop. Um, she was asking about the link to the website. Excellent. Well, I know I speak for myself and my team, and I'm going to speak for all of our participants today. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for sharing about Zipped Brands and sharing the message that you brought today. And I cannot be more grateful and more excited to see where you are in the next 3 months, and then the next 3 months, and then the next 3 months. Well, I was telling my supervisor, I'm like, I'm gonna be able to say, like, I knew him when. I talked
I
to him
knew him
when.
when. Oh no. Well, it was such an honor, Again, thank you for inviting me on. I love doing things like this. I love talking to people and spreading my word and sharing my story. So, thank you guys for having me on. I can't wait to do it again. I hope you have me in the future as well.
Excellent. Well, thank you again. I hope you enjoy your 75-degree weather down there. Don't gloat too much because it's still cold up here. But thank you, and have a good rest of your day. And thank you everyone for joining us today. We're so grateful for your participation. And keep an eye out for the recording when it goes up. So have a good day, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your week.
Thanks, everyone.